Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. We are here another Monday night football, as always, here ready to talk about La Fiera and a doble jornada week, a week where we had back-to-back games and we were pretty nervous because we knew the situation that León is, and obviously it's coming to the end of the season, kind of pretty crucial moment for most teams. So we're here to break down all the stuff that happened during Doble Jornada with León versus Cruz Azul versus Morelia. As you can see, we are live from different areas. Carlos, Jose, Louis, how are we tonight?
1 point out of 6.
Like a huge sigh.
Very disappointed.
As good as I can be. Yeah.
En lo que cabe, right?
Yeah.
So we are waiting for Javier to join us anytime soon. He's having some technical difficulties, and we'll have a special guest helping us recap the game versus Morelia. So as always, guys, make sure to follow us on at the Lions Den Pod on Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe to YouTube channels. We are live every Monday night, like today. So further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the León versus Cruz Azul match. We had La Máquina Inc. help us kind of preview that game last week, so we were all kind of feeling pretty confident. And Oscar from La Máquina was not, so it was a very interesting game. So before we give the lineup, Carlos, tell us the team news prior to this match.
Yeah, so last week we had Ismael Sosa out. He was serving a 2-game suspension. One of which was given, obviously, by the league after a player receives a red card, and the second one, which is given by Nacho Ambriz. So last night, during the León and Monarcas game, I actually heard a clarification on this rule that I didn't know about. I don't know if you guys know about it. Mm-hmm. But the player doesn't actually serve a full game that's given by Nacho Ambriz. He only doesn't get to start the next game. So that's why you saw Sosa come in the second half yesterday. Yeah.
That's why I was so confused, because you guys were saying he was going to come back. He wasn't going to be there. But then I think Jose was like, oh, we're going to have Sosa. So I was so confused on how that rule worked.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it's not a full game suspension. It's only you don't get to start the next game.
Okay.
Whether or not
so it's strange why Guerrero started, right?
Yeah, but whether or not that's
right.
the official Nacho Ambriz rule, I couldn't see him not using Sosa if we had him available, just as shorthanded as we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So second bullet point, we had some news out of Peru. We actually were just talking about this off camera. Ricardo Gareca, the coach of the Peruvian national team, said in a press conference that he was going to call up Pedro Aquino during the next FIFA international break. Now, Aquino is currently serving, he's actually out, recovering from knee surgery, and he was expected to be back before the the FIFA break. So we might see him this weekend, if not this weekend, possibly during our next match, which is going to be in Tijuana. But he is supposed to be traveling to Peru. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of premature to take Pedro Aquino, especially since he hasn't played. He hasn't gotten any action with us. Mm-hmm. But we'll go in a little bit more into that in a while. And then also we had Osvaldo Rodriguez, who got his first start with León since last season. So that was definitely good to see. And not only that, but he did a really good job, I think, on that left back role. Subbing in for Jairo, who's actually playing his natural position.
We'll definitely talk about Osvaldo's return and how maybe a decision for future will be crucial, because I mean we'll get into that. So talking about the lineup versus Cruz Azul, we had Cota, Navarro, Ramiro Tecillo, center back duo, Osvaldito, as Carlos had mentioned, starting at legitimate role as a left back. We had Ivan Ochoa and Ivan Rodriguez. Ivan Ochoa was my total surprise, and you guys can all agree. Meneses on one wing, Jairo on the other wing, which is another surprise. Joel Campbell playing a little bit behind JJ Macias. So, I mean, I felt pretty confident just in the fact that Osvaldito was back to a legitimate role. Yairo, we had spoken about last week about maybe changing more up into the attack role. I was just very unsure about Ochoa. What do you guys think?
I mean, he's a defensive-minded player. He's somebody who wouldn't be in there if Aquino were healthy. You know, he's a not as mature, not as polished, not as versatile version of Pedro Aquino. I don't know. I haven't been impressed with him really at all. Anytime that he's played, it was an odd choice for me. But you know, like even Diaz Price would have been another option, but you can tell he just can't really stay in Ambriz's favor.
Yeah.
It was that was the one that was, to me, that was very, very questionable for starting. I would have picked, you know, pretty much any of the other midfielders that you have on the roster to start over him. Diaz Price, or, you know, we've talked about Carlos Guerrero, who hasn't been convocado in forever. You know, just having seen him play a few times, I'm much more impressed with him. I wish he would get more of a shot. Ochoa, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think he brings that much to the table. Clearly defensive minded. So if he falters there at all, he's not giving you anything on the other end, as opposed to like Yairo, for example, who is not a natural outside back. But what he makes up for in missing a few marks on defense, I mean, he creates so many chances for you going forward. So at least, you know, there's a trade-off there. With Ochoa, I'm not really seeing that. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of his skill set.
And with that being said, Javier is added to the stream. Javier.
Javier.
Hey guys, what's up?
Welcome.
How are you?
Good. A little bit higher.
Can you hear me a little bit?
Yeah, it's a little low.
A little quiet.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Súbele.
Can you hear me now?
No.
It's kind of the same thing.
But
Still the same.
talk to us about how did you see the lineup? We were talking about Osvaldito returning back to a left back. We had Ivan Ochoa was a surprise, and then Yairo playing a different role.
Well, the lineup, I kind of just saw it before. Like when I got to the stadium, I kind of saw who was going to play, and you know, I kind of like seeing Campbell come in the second half.
Oh, we're talking about the Cruz Azul one.
Oh, sorry. Oh man, sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Can you guys repeat the lineup, please?
Oh yeah. So the lineup versus Cruz Azul. Actually, Louis was there, and he'll talk to us a little bit about how the atmosphere was there. Yeah, Louis was there. So the lineup: Navarrito, Ramiro Tecillo, Osvaldito, Jesito Rodriguez, Ivan Ochoa, Joan Meneses, Yairo, Joel Campbell, and JJ Macias.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was happy to see Ivan and Osvaldito play. And as for basically, I mean, I saw. I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I saw like half the game, so I really couldn't I really couldn't. I guess what I saw was just pretty much Cruz Azul playing in a way where I was like really mad at Leon because I felt like it was a game we were supposed to win. And as far as the lineup is concerned, it was I was just happy to see those Rodriguez play again. That's pretty much all I got about that.
Carlos or Jose?
Wanna go, Carlos, or should I?
Yeah, I mean Ochoa was a surprise. As soon as I saw the starting lineup, I was like, okay, this is a defensive-minded lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously we're not going to be attacking. We all thought during the last episode, we all said that maybe John Cardona was going to get the nod, but he didn't. So once I saw Ochoa in there, I was like, okay, we're probably going to be defending because Cruz Azul they really want to get a win against us if they want to stay alive for Liguilla.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Ambriz from the beginning just wanted to go out there with a defensive lineup, which worked okay because we had a lot of chances. It's not like we weren't playing our style of game. We had plenty of chances to score, but they just didn't go in. Again, we were imprecise. The ball didn't go in.
Osvaldito had his shot at goal, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about,
Yeah, so I think imprecision messed us up last night and in the goal. I mean, in the game against Cruz Azul. I don't know. I don't know what it is about the guys. I don't know if they forgot where the goal's at, or tienen las patas chuecas, or it's just they can't get the ball in. Like Campbell had a tap in, and it just goes.
It was a
Yeah.
gimme. It was a gimme in
Yeah.
front of the goal.
Yeah.
Jose.
Just like you, I was surprised that he put Ivan Ochoa. I think I understand why he did it because, man, that's one thing I think I forgot to say it on the last episode previous to Azul. I heard that when he got so bad that it was because of he hadn't he hadn't recuperated himself from the injury concerns, and that's probably why they subbed out. And so when I saw Meneses starting on the right, it surprised me, but then I understood, he probably wasn't 100%. But I don't know. I think just like Luis says, like, I don't know. I don't think Ochoa really deserved to start, but then again, I don't understand why he didn't give Cardona then in that game a chance. He should have, in my opinion.
Well, I'm starting to think that. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, because we clearly saw when he came in versus Cruz Azul, like he changed the rhythm of the game too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think that no matter what, there was going to be some rotation. So if he didn't start Cardona against Cruz Azul, that he probably was planning to start him against Monarcas all along. Thursday to Sunday is a pretty quick turnaround. And I mean, I was expecting that there would be some rotation anyway. I just think there are better options than Ochoa in general, even if you don't want to start the same player in his spot in 2 straight games. I just, whether he starts or he comes on as a sub, I just don't get the impression that he's going to make a big difference. I've never gotten that impression with him. I can kind of see where Ambris is going with it pretty much any other player that he brings on regularly. But Ochoa, I don't know. Maybe I just not good, not elite enough on defense, and pretty much non-existent on offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can sit here and talk about Ochoa, but he wasn't really the main factor in the reason that we lost,
No.
No, of course not.
It was just a surprise because he has never started. So when I see him on the lineup, I was like, right. I mean, Carlos had stated, like, we're going to be different.
He has not rhythm, so you just throw him out there and exposing like that.
Yeah,
that's not cool either.
No. And I do think at halftime it was insane how we were still scoreless. I think we had opportunities that we should have made them. Like there was just those kind of opportunities that like the commentators say, ya no vuelven, and they're gonna probably come back to haunt them second half. And I think
sure enough,
it did. I mean, Cota was on fire. He did what he could. Other than that, it was just out of his hands. And what we saw, minute 51, goal de Cruz Azul, off a corner, terrible marking. I was really upset then.
Again, and so I don't know, for some reason, set pieces for us in our favor and against us have not been our forte this season. We've been getting score on from set pieces, like how Luis was saying, like last season, set pieces was our one of our many tools to open up the score of on the opposite team. And now this season, like, that's been lost. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and every single one against us is extremely nerve-wracking.
Yes, exactly.
Where it wasn't before. I don't know what the stats or like the rankings in terms of which team in Liga MX has been scored on most off of set pieces, but I think we have to be pretty high up there. Or what percentage of our goals against come off of set pieces? That'd be an interesting stat to look up.
Well, I think it was mentioned that Cruz Azul has the best set piece percentage, or best effective set piece percentage in the league. I don't know if you guys heard the broadcast, but I think that was mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. I remember them saying that too.
Yeah, but there's absolutely no reason for Caraglio to be unmarked.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there was no one taking him on like to marking.
Yeah.
Like and that was the case with, I think it was in the last game too. I think it was Tecillo and Jairo.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
right?
During the
think-
two
And
headers
no
by San Luis.
yeah, and y se les escapó a los dos. Like
Mhm.
none of them
Yeah,
jumped.
the fast guy, the fast guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think with Yaidol, he can give us so much as speed on the wing. Él encara a los jugadores, se mete all the way down the wing. But when it comes to defending and his positioning, it's totally off guard, and I think that's where it's such a liability to us, because it just leaves Tecillo and Ramiro. With Ramiro this season has not been 100% like last season, and I think defensively we're not consistent. And I've said this before a couple podcasts ago, and I asked you guys, like, do we just need to set? I mean, obviously, right now, Mosquera's injured, and now this season, Yairo with a new role. But do we need to go back to just a consistent
Basics.
lineup? Yeah, and then to me, now Osvaldito is back. I think he had a great game.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So why not just keep it simple, keep it basic? Have Osvaldito, have Tecillo, Mosquera, and Navarro, and call it a day defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But the Yaito thing, maybe it could be like a second option. I agree with you, because I think he's great at attacking, but you're right. Sometimes he goes all the way up, and it's kind of like he doesn't really return to kind of help defend with the CEO and everybody that's back. And I just want to mention one thing. The only thing that I really got to see from the game was like right after. I mean, I was watching the whole second half, and it just feels like the same thing over and over again. They get scored on first, and then they start playing like for reals. You know what I mean? It really annoys me, because they should be playing like that since the first minute of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think Ambriz thinks he has to have Yairo in there. He cannot. I mean, he figures he can sacrifice a true left back, but he can't sacrifice Meneses. He can't sacrifice Sosa when he's available. He can't sacrifice even Campbell, although Campbell has, as we saw, came off the bench and has come off the bench at some points. But he'd prefer to sacrifice a healthy Osvaldo than any one of those other guys. And I mean, I can kind of see it, because I want those guys in there. If you're gonna opposed to an outside back, who do you sacrifice? I mean, the most natural sacrifice would be Meneses, but Meneses has got to be in there. I feel. I mean, I don't think you can take him out. Especially now without Chapo, and I think Meneses, in terms of positive things that have happened, I think Meneses continues to grow in that as close to a number 10 role as Leon plays with. I think he's really gotten. I mean, he's gotten better. He's one of the few bright spots. I mean, I don't think you can. There are a lot of players. I'm going to talk about this when we get even to the Monarcas game, but there's some players you can ask more of right now, that we need to be asking more of, that we need to expect more of if we want to recuperar el protagonismo. But I don't think you can say that about Meneses. I think and I think he and Yairo play about as close to the same natural position as you can, but Yairo has much more of the perfil for if you're going to use him as an outside back than Meneses would. I mean, so I think, not that he would think of using Meneses as an outside back, but I think if you want to have both of those guys on the field, then Yairo has to be an outside back. And, it's frustrating to see him miss his mark sometimes. It's because it's not his natural. He wasn't brought up playing that position, and it's still not completely natural for him.
Yeah.
But what he brings in terms of creating chances is just something that Osvaldo does not have. So it's kind of a pick your poison kind of thing.
Literally, Louis, I think you described it well, because if you think about it, okay, si sacrificamos a Osvaldito, we put Osvaldo, then we have a pretty good cemented, line of three. Navarrito can still go up and down on the wing attacking, right? But then on the attack, you only have Navarro. So, I mean, that consolidates us pretty good to a certain extent. But again, if you throw back Jairo in there, you have Jairo and Navarrito up on the attack. You leave the center backs and probably Ivan to fend for themselves. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's the best thing to do at this point in time. Is it best to pick as of right now what's going to be our core base, or do we wait until Liguilla?
Yeah, I mean, he clearly. I mean, I mentioned this before, but he seems unwilling. Hombre seems unwilling to not have Jairo on the field somewhere, and but he doesn't want to. Doesn't have him in his midfield play. Doesn't want to use him as a midfielder, except for the Cruz Azul game where he kind of did. But he doesn't want to. He doesn't like to use. He doesn't want to use him there. He'd rather use other people in those positions. But he cannot.
Yeah.
He just can't resign himself to the fact of, or to the idea of not having him on the field. So he just, I don't know. He continues to play out of position. Sometimes it's worked really well, and other times, it's cost us a little bit. But I mean, I can't. I don't know. I don't know if I guess I'm kind of in favor of that. I don't want. Maybe it's just because I prefer Jairo to Osvaldo. Osvaldo is good, but he hasn't been that good most of the time that I've watched him play. Maybe it's just because I'm still skeptical of him, and then he was out for almost an entire year, and how could he come back? And he didn't have a chance to grow as a player, and all that time he was out, at least, not with game experience. I guess it's probably that I'm not, and have never been, a huge Osvaldo fan, and he needs more time. I need more time with him for him to prove me wrong.
What do you guys think?
I mean, I think that's interesting because I personally thought he had a really good game against Cruz Azul. Like, for it to be his first game back. First game. Well, it wasn't his first game back because I think he got some minutes against Atletico.
San Luis. Yeah, he subbed in for like 15 minutes. Yeah.
Right. But it was his first start since last season, Jornada 2, I think. And to play against a team like Cruz Azul, who was obviously going to attack you all game, trying to find that goal, I think he did a pretty good job. I wouldn't mind seeing him start again. I don't know. I feel like we need to give him a chance, especially on that left back role.
I agree that he had a good game. I'm not saying he didn't have a good game against Cruz Azul. What I'm saying is that's a small sample size compared to the Osvaldo that I've been watching since, whatever, it's been 2 or 3 years ago that he's been with the club on loan from Pachuca. So yeah, I'm not against giving him more of an opportunity. I'm just skeptical still. If he has another opportunity, he does very well with it, then then it's a new conversation.
Yeah. Jose, Javier, any insights?
Well, on the Osvaldo Rodriguez, I'm happy that he's back. I think we need all kinds of options at this point because I think when the Liguilla starts, we need a lot of healthy players. Hopefully Chapo is back, but what I mean is, like, you see Meneses playing a new role. I think things happen for a reason. Just like when Osvaldo got injured and then Jairo played in that position, he showed great talent. But what I mean is, I think anytime a player comes back and they show that kind of how he played, hadn't started in a long time, I think that's one of the things that I'm very happy about. And it's just another piece that Andres can use later on, hopefully in the Liguilla. Because at this point, I just care about qualifying. I was talking to Louis about this. It'll be really great if they can qualify in the top 4. But at the same time, you do want to avoid, right now, if the Liguilla would start, we would play Querétaro. And I'm happy because I don't want to play Tigres right off the bat. So I feel like La Liguilla is a whole different tournament. And as long as we qualify and by then get healthy players, I'm just happy Osvaldo is back,
Yeah, we can get into the specifics of the standings later, but yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing to note. As the 6 against the 3 when the 3 is Querétaro is better than the 5 against the 4 as Tigres. That's just it's a weird thing. But wanting to finish lower is a weird thing to wish for, and I don't. But it could end up not being the end of the world.
No, I mean we saw what had happened when the 7 miracles needed to happen for us to qualify to La Liga. We qualified in 8th and then won
Yeah.
23 points.
You know, it was the most absurd thing I've ever seen, and I was like, "Well, it's game."
Still the most. It's one of the craziest things I ever. Everything just aligned. Everything.
It's crazy.
Well,
Jose, what were you gonna say?
the worrisome thing though is a lot of times those last Liga spot teams get in just barely, and they've had to play so well at the end of the season just to be able to make it in.
Mhm.
Whereas we're kind of the opposite. We've been up at the top near the top of the table the whole season and have kind of fallen off a bit. So
Mhm.
we're going to qualify. It would take a mathematical miracle for us not to clasificar at this point. But we're going in the wrong direction, and you know, you can finish in any spot you want. The key is getting in with momentum, which I feel like both of these games kind of killed for us.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's the most concerning thing.
See, so since you guys start talking about how Osvaldo, I agree with Carlos. He had a good game in the versus Cruz Azul, but I also think that because I believe when he got injured was versus Tigres, right?
Yeah, because it was at the start of
At the start
of the season. So it was
the
like the
season.
second game,
Yeah.
the first game,
Right.
second
First
game.
game
season.
of last season. Yeah.
Was the
Yeah,
first
that's
game?
that's
Okay.
what I remember. So at least I remember in that game, what I saw from him before he got injured. For me, that was the best game he had since he came to Leon versus Tigres. And to like I actually saw because I remember like people like would complain that he wouldn't go up as much then,
Mhm.
and I think he was like just like de ida y vuelta. And I think for me at least, I think Espado deserves more credit than that he is given sometimes. I do think that he needs a chance, and I would like him to start because we also need more to be more solid in defense, and he might bring that because first of all, he knows the position better. He's played that position for a long time now, rather than Jairo that's beginning to learn to play left backs. So maybe he might just be what we need, and I think he should be given an opportunity right now that we still have two games in the regular season, so we can still afford to experiment because once Liguilla comes in, we can't really tinker with defense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess my question, I mean, obviously we still have, a couple of games kind of seeing, what we need in Liguilla to come out campeón. Obviously, we'll talk about this when we talk about the Morelia game. A huge absence that we clearly have stated we need Chapo. Now,
yeah.
Defensively, if we had everybody back and healthy, if we have Osvaldo back, Mosquera's healthy, Aquino's healthy, Montes, if we had the whole squad healthy, what defensive line are we going to remain consistent throughout Liguilla? Are we going to go back to basics of last season, or are we going to adjust and include Jairo still?
I think I might take in favor of more solid. Not that he's bad, but I want a more solid defense too, because that's going to be very important in Liguilla. If we get scoring a lot of guns, then there's no point. Plus, we're having the issue that we can't seem to put the ball away.
Yeah.
When we need to.
But if you take out Jairo, like Louis mentioned, you have to take out somebody from one of the wings in order to put Jairo in because Ambriz doesn't want to keep him on the bench. So I think that becomes a second issue. Or do you just use him off the bench as like one of your great options?
That's what I would do. But like Louis says, he's not going to do that.
And I agree with him in not doing. I wouldn't do in favor. Well, in favor of who in the midfield? So I don't know. I think Yairo's showing us more than a lot of guys who could be his potential replacement. I agree with wanting to keep him on the field. I'm not necessarily stuck to the idea of keeping him at left back because, frankly, I mean, we discussed this before. I think the team has looked at its best when Tecillo has played left back. To be quite honest with you guys, I sorry, Javier. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
I know I stopped twice. I was like, all right, I'll say it. But then great
yeah,
job,
no,
man. I like him there.
I think the team has looked
great there.
He started playing there out of necessity, and then kind of stuck there, and that's when the team was most threatening to abordar la grandeza. I think it was when Tecillo was playing at left back, and then
Mosquera
and then you keep Mosquera and Ramiro in the center back spots, and Navarro on the right.
So would it look like Tecillo, Mosquera, Ramiro, Navarro, Chapo, Rodriguez, Meneses, Yairo, Campbell, and JJ?
Hell yeah.
That's a good lineup. That's a good lineup. If Campbell is gonna be the player that he can be. Otherwise, I might go with Sosa.
Sosa.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. I think with Campbell and Sosa this season, they've just been at their best, honestly. It's just, I don't know if it's, the teams are knowing how we're going to play, right? That could be one, because we've seen it happen, especially in the Jornada.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
I'll be like, Louis, sorry for stealing your thunder.
we all think alike.
No. Like it seems like, I mean, because it's been what, 16 jornadas now, and it's happened over and over. Like that, even not just the top teams, even the teams that are not playing for being in La Liguilla, and we just seem to stumble onto a wall, like, and I don't know, like, and I don't know, have I missed something, or does it seem like, like how before we used to just interchange positions? Have you seen that this season?
I only saw it with Yairo and Meneses during the Cruz Azul game, where they would like switch back and forth, like that. I would see them move, but it was never
right. No, but remember, like,
but not like last season when it was
when we were like playing three and on the top, and then they will all change. Like sometimes like Mena will play even as a striker, and then JJ will move to the right wing or the left, and then sometimes even Meneses will be playing as a right winger. Like they will move all along the tag.
It just came natural.
Have you seen that?
No,
I know, but have you seen that though?
I didn't see it against Morelia. I didn't see it against San Luis.
Because that was one of the teams that made a lot of teams like wary of us, because they didn't know who to mark.
Yeah. That would make the defense of the other team go crazy. They're like, what?
Right, and they would do paredes between, and I don't think I really seen that, because like they haven't been really trying to do paredes between each other. Like
and in the second half of the season, we haven't seen it at all.
Or that's one way to get in.
Not effective.
Too.
Yeah. One thing I have seen, though, I don't know if you guys noticed, but especially during our last game last night, Monarcas was triple teaming Angel Mena. So they're triple teaming our wings because they know that's where we're effective from.
Yes.
So it's kind of difficult because usually last season our wingers were like probably our most effective weapon, especially with Angel Mena being the highest goal scorer. So this season it seems like they're just like suffocating the wings because they know that's where we can attack from, especially with Chapo being out.
Attack.
We don't have a center attack, so they're just
you got it right.
We were the team that would cross from the last zone the most, just cross, and out of there we would get all the goals. Leon has dropped insanely on that. We don't cross as much as we did last season. And another thing, Leon quiere meterse hasta dentro, and with sometimes we can't do that. And Jose, said it, the frustration, like, just start shooting. If you get to that point. So,
Well, but
I
then
mean,
they
again,
haven't
we have
done
all
it.
of these. We have all of these hybrid type attacking players. I mean, you think about Mena, you think about
Mhm.
Sosa, you think about Campbell, you think about Meneses.
Mhm.
None of them are. They're neither wingers nor strikers nor midfielders. They're all kind of these hybrid guys. That's why it was such a well-oiled machine to see them just crisscrossing and going wherever they could find space.
Mhm.
And as a defensive team, you can't triple team all of them at once. You know, I don't understand what's different, why it's not working. I mean, yes, Chapo being out of the middle to kind of game manage and control this, this
Oh
chaos
shit.
is important. Is important, but I don't. They should be doing better than they are. I don't know how else to say it. It's not unfair to have higher expectations out of some of these guys than what we've been seeing in the last 7 or 8 jornadas.
yeah.
I just don't think it's unfair to have those expectations out of them. They're so versatile, so many guys who can do so much, and they're getting squashed out. They're not unable to do any of it. I feel.
And I think you said this earlier, Louis, about some players need to step it up this season. We've seen when Campbell entra, fantastic. We've said that he needs to start. Sosa the same. I need more of Mena. I need more of him. He me da. I'm not lost for words. Like he can come in, and do great, but me falta más. I need the Mena from last season. I need that Mena back, because without him, I mean, obviously, we have teams who know Mena is our low key weapon on the wing, and constructing him. I mean, we close out a lot of opportunities, but I need that type of Mena back.
Yeah, Minna and Campbell are the two big ones for me. You might disagree with me on Campbell, but the guy is so talented.
Yeah.
But he's so impreciso,
Mhm.
especially at least lately. I expect more out of him. Quite simply expect more out of him, and I think we were getting more out of him.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's what we want to see out of this team is to aspire to greatness.
Yeah.
They have given us very, very high expectations. They haven't faced hardly any adversity in all of 2019. So our expectations are extremely high, and it's because of the great play of some of these guys that we have stopped seeing.
Yes, because we know they're capable. They've shown their greatness. They've shown how fearless they are, and the way they connect, the chemistry. I'm missing the chemistry of these past couple 6 games. Like where is that chemistry? Like, is something wrong in the locker room, or is it just mentally? I think they're trying to overdo it, and they just get exposed like this. Especially, and I tweeted it. I hate doble jornadas. León this season in doble jornadas. Should be expecting at least, maybe I can go with a draw and a win, but we got 1 point.
Yeah.
Eso de que no sirve. León had to win. It was kind of a situation where pintaba, we can get second place. We just need to win, and we couldn't even do that.
The stage was set.
Like, am I asking for too much, or is it just a situation where,
no,
like Louis said, where our expectations are way above?
So, I mean, I think, second place with a different 2 points separate 6th and 2nd. It's been a really. Javier was saying, and I was kind of saying, I hate being in 6th when we could be in 2nd, but it's the difference is so minimal. Sometimes it's a lot wider. Usually usually there's a lot of parity. Usually it's pretty close. But this season, I mean, and then you look, we got all those favorable results. So many teams in the top of the table falling or drawing this jornada. Like you say, Carlos, the stage was set, but nobody took advantage. I mean, nobody took advantage. I mean, it's just such except for Santos, just kind of pulled away a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just been a really, really tight table, so I want to, what can I say? We're 1 point off of 2nd place, but we're in 6th,
It's funny.
It's and we have anything can still, we can finish anywhere from 2nd to 8th. Still, you know.
It'd
Honestly,
be
I
interesting.
don't think we'll fall farther than where we are now, but we could
Mhm.
finish anywhere from 2nd to 8th, and that's just crazy with 2 matches to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember last year we had amarrado, not last year, last season, amarrado el super liderato from like with 3 or 4 matches to go, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, that was rare. It's a rare thing.
Well, the good thing is that we have a 2-week international break coming up, and we're going to be able to recover Andres Mosquera, Pedro Aquino, and Chapo Montes. So we're going to be ready to go for Liguilla.
God,
Wait.
I hope so.
2
'Cause
weeks.
I think I heard somewhere that it's 2 weeks, or is it
That's
just 1
crazy.
week?
Well,
Hopefully it's 2 weeks.
no, it's the whole the entire length of time is 2 weeks. It's one jornada off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from the time from you play one, we'll play against Toluca, then we'll have 2 weeks, and then we play 2 calendar week, not 2 jornadas
Yeah.
before we play Tijuana.
And I can't wait for that
Yeah.
Tijuana game because I really want Leon to eliminate them over there in TJ. There's nothing more that I want right
Dude,
now.
they just lost to Juarez
I
3-0 at
know.
home.
That was a
I was so
game.
happy. I was so happy, but then Morelia scored, so I wasn't that happy anymore.
Oh no. Well, we'll continue the conversation of Leon and what they need to do these next couple of matches after we recap the second doble jornada game versus Morelia, and obviously we'll have Brian from Morelia Monarcas English, and we're going to add him to the stream to help us kind of recap how that game went.
Hello.
Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, welcome to
Hello. You can all hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Brian via Toronto, how are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. It's getting chilly, but it's gonna get a lot worse in the months to come. Right now, it's only the beginning.
So before we start talking about, what went down in the Leon versus Morelia, talk to us a little bit about your Twitter page that you created, Morelia in English. Talk to me a little bit more about that. Why you started it? Have you always been a fan? Go.
Okay, well, to begin with, I am not Mexican at all. Like I've been stereotyped as a Mexican before, but no, I'm not Mexican. That just because people call me Mexican here in Canada sometimes does not make me Mexican. Although I would love to visit someday. I would say that much. I'm actually Peruvian, and now I know you're rolling your eyes for all those listening, saying, "Oh, he just supports them because of Flores." No, that's not true at all. I've been supporting them immediately since the Ruiz Diaz days. And at the start, I was only supporting Raul Ruiz Diaz, but then I grew into the team, and once Raul Ruiz Diaz left, I kept supporting them. And I'm not talking about those fringe players like Andy Polo or Rice on the Wild, who I don't rate at all. I've been supporting them through thick and skin since those days, and I'm really happy they're going back to how they used to be during the Ruiz Diaz days. They're obviously not as good. We miss Valdez still, but and Raul as well. But it's better. Last season we were as bad as Veracruz, so it's been a ride, and I'm happy they've improved. And that's what the page has started. I saw the Liga MX community being big in English, and I decided to give it a go. There wasn't any pages of Monarcas in English, so I thought, this needs to exist. So I decided to create it. And on that topic, I'm also the founder of the Peruvian Waltz, which is the all Peruvian football things in English. So I'm not.
I know. I think I know that one. Nice.
Yeah, I no longer form part of it, but I am the founder of it. I was the founder of the podcast as well. I was there for over a year. I decided to left to try and express my creativity elsewhere.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. So now, I'll say the lineup for. Oh no! Before we get started, Carlos, give me the team news ahead of Leon versus Morelia before we do lineups.
Sure thing. So we had Leo Ramos back in the lineup. His last activity was actually during the friendly that Jose and I went to here in Los Angeles, probably about a month ago. So that actually was really good. But when we get into the analysis, I'll tell you guys why I thought it was bad. Andres Mosquera and Luis Montes reportedly are supposed to be back against Toluca, which is this upcoming weekend. John Cardona made his first official start with Leon. Unfortunately, he was sent off, but he did get his first start. And then a rumor going around about JJ Macias and Sevilla sporting director admitting that they were keeping an eye on JJ Macias. So another rumor besides the Dortmund rumor that has been confirmed. Yeah, and that's what I had.
Cool. I think it's good to know about an update on the Montes and Mosqueras we're talking about. We need to try and get everybody as healthy as we can before going into Liguilla. So Leon lineup for this game: Cota in goal, Navarro, Tecillo, Ramiro, center back duo, Jairo Moreno returns as a left back, Meneses and Ivan Rodriguez, Mena on one wing, John Cardona on the left wing, Ramos and Macias. Brian, give me Morelia's starting lineup versus Leon.
Yes, I took it here. Sebastián Sosa, Efraín Velarde, Sebastián Vegas, Gabriel Achillier, Shaggy Martinez, Mario Osuna, Rodrigo Millán, Aldo Rocha, Quick Mendoza, Fernando Aristeguieta, and Oreja Flores.
My boy Aldo Rocha, I miss him, man.
I know, I miss Aldo Rocha.
Yeah. Chispa Velarde also. I like,
You like Chispa? I couldn't. He needed it. He wasn't a Fiera for me. I don't know.
I thought he was solid, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
Of his time here. Yeah.
So I don't know where to begin. I mean, it was a game that was going to be exciting, and we predicted last week that we were hoping this game was going to be a high-scoring game because Morelia goleó, the game before, and we were like, okay, this is going to be a game where León needs to win porque tiene que ganar a fuerza. They depend on themselves, like we had talked about regarding the standings on the table. And then Morelia scores. So, Brian, talk to me about Morelia's goal. What'd you think of it? Did you like it? The setup?
It was. I don't know. It was kind of lucky. Like Flores, firstly, he made a cross, but it got deflected, and then Achille was in place to get the goal. It was a little bit lucky, and Achille, that will really set the standard for him for the rest of the game because Achille was fantastic for us.
My guys, how did our Leon stand in that?
I mean,
Again, could be.
I think
the story continues.
I think up to that point, Leon was probably. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. The result is frustrating, but it didn't surprise me. You guys know I think I was the only one who predicted a draw.
Yeah,
no, I predicted a draw on the condition that we would have come from beating Cruz Azul, so the draw wouldn't hurt so much. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this is exactly what I expected. It's basically a Liguilla preview. I think Monarcas will be in Liguilla. They've been one of the hottest teams in Liga MX as of late. They've been playing very, very well. We were a team that started playing very well and have fallen off a bit. So I feel like this is a very typical clash of two Liguilla-bound teams, but heading in opposite directions, squaring off this late in the season. I think León, forgive me, Brian, I think León is better on paper, but Morelia has been playing better, undeniably, as of late. So I think it was going to be, and especially, coming off their blowout win against Juarez, I coming in brimming with confidence. I just knew this was going to be a tough game, and we haven't been solid in these types of games at home. So I was this game really worried me, and so frankly, in the moment it was excruciating because we had every opportunity to come out of there with the 3 points, but to not be able to do so did not surprise me. I'm not going to say that it surprised me, and I'm kind of relieved that we managed to even scrape by with the point.
I'll just jump in really quickly. I just had a quick double look at the table. I know where Monarcas was sitting, but I honestly think León should be fine. I said that if Monarcas, I saw on Twitter that Monarcas won this game, then they were 1 foot in the playoffs. And I think if I'm correct, León is 3 points ahead of us. It's 3 or 4. and
Three.
we would
Three.
have we would have been at 26 with Monterrey drawing this weekend. That would have been the perfect weekend if Monarcas won. And I think a draw does actually suit Leon, even though it's not the result that's needed because it's at home, but it does suit Leon a little bit because it kind of stands by what I said. Now, I've not seen Leon's last two games. I think Monarcas will be fine. I agree that we will be in Liguilla because we have Puebla at home next, and Puebla has been awful. And their manager, Juan Reynoso, one of my countrymen, I think, he's qualified to do the job, but I think he's awful as a manager, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So I think we should be fine there just because it's at home. And I honestly think Leon will be fine. Like I've not seen the last few games, but they just needed a point from the Monarcas game, really, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the implications of what getting all three would have meant. I mean, you're right, especially with the results that are yet to come between the teams that are immediately behind us. 4 out of the 5 teams that can still catch us still have to play each other, so that none of them. Then that means that it's just fewer teams that can ultimately pass us. But I think, Brian, the disappointment of las maneras. I mean, there's good and bad ways to win, lose, and draw. We just the way our team is playing doesn't fill any of us with confidence. I don't think right now. Whether
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I saw the game, and well, we had our flaws. I thought we were pretty superior last night, to be honest. This first half was pretty thrilling. Second half was kind of dull. Like we dominated the midfield, but we didn't really do anything in attack. Whereas I think Leon looked a tad more dangerous in attack, but got less attacks going. That's what I think. That's what I saw from the game. And last week I heard the pod, and I saw the comment about how it's going to be Meneses versus Orejas, which Meneses did show up, but I honestly don't think Orejas showed up last night. It was one of his poor games. And one thing I should note, one thing I was looking at, Orejas had 3 dribbles out of 6, whereas J. Macias had 3 dribbles out of 6 as well. But I looked back at those dribbles, and Macias seemed to be more effective with it. Flores just kind of did a dribble and then and just ended up back where he started. That's what I've noticed.
I think JJ did great in the role, and I think we talked about Leon playing with 2 strikers, and I kind of saw it as JJ, see if he's there, he'd make it. If not, he'd be the one to create. And to me, I saw how he created last night. It was just, we couldn't get it in. And then the penal, guys, it was a penal.
Oh yes, definitely, it was a penal. That's one of the things I mostly wanted to talk about.
Okay, Javier, take the floor because you were there with Louis present.
Yeah,
what happened?
Well, it looked like a penal, and I looked at Louis. Louis like, I don't know, man. And I was like, people are reacting like it really was a penal. So I just couldn't wait to go watch it at home. And then when I saw it again, I'm like, what? Like that was. I mean, arguably, it could be really. I don't know. Like
I don't know how you miss it. Like.
I mean, he marked it, and he was like, "No, let me go check."
I'm depressed again.
And then the way he was whistling.
No, he didn't whistle. He just pointed. He pointed for a goal kick. He didn't whistle. Yeah.
Everybody got excited.
I thought he had given a penalty. I thought
that's what I thought when he pointed at the goal kick.
Yeah. Well, Javier, I said I wasn't sure because in this age of VAR, when they hesitate just for that split second before marking it, which he did, I'm like, if he goes to VAR, he's going to call it back because he did it. Because he wasn't sure, but it doesn't matter if he wasn't sure, because if it isn't, you can always check it. If they're like right away, point to the spot, blow the whistle, no hesitation, then it usually is. But I
and then I mean the Banderano was the one that made the call.
So you think he called it off because he wasn't sure?
I think
he just. Well,
I think he hesitated. I think he hesitated at marking it to begin with because he wasn't 100% sure, and then sure enough, it went to VAR. Well, but just like how the line judges are now instructed not to call offside right away if they're not entirely sure, because if it's a goal, then they can always go back and take it back. I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
I
think
mean,
maybe Brian paid off the arbitro. Not playing.
I mean, I don't know what he was seeing. Like, I know what we saw.
I've been trying to keep quiet. For me, it wasn't the penalty, to be honest. I thought it was a bit soft, but
Of course not, Brian. Come on.
Come
It
on.
I was scared that was going to be a penalty anyways, but I wasn't agreed with the decision, and my family seemed to think the same as well. They aren't Monarcas fans, by the way. I'm the only Monarcas fan in my family. They're more Flores fans. I'm
But
actually
they love
Monarcas
you, bro,
fan.
and they love your way of thinking.
Carlos, what were you gonna say?
So I was just going to point out the fact that that same exact call was given to Ruben Sambuesa one night before in his game against Necaxa. The exact same play, it went to VAR and they called it a penalty. So I was like, wait, how is it not a penalty now? It's literally the exact same play. I think Louis was probably the only one watching the game that night.
VAR has this season, it's just been ridiculous. Like, you just don't know when it goes to VAR, you're just thinking it's gonna go against us,
Yes.
or you just really
Or
don't
no.
know what's gonna happen. And
It's a double-edged sword.
yeah.
Sorry, did you not hear what's that guy? The president of I forget his name.
Bonilla?
Bricio. No, Bricio. He said that Mexico has the best VAR in the whole world. That's what he said.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Like, I will at least say the least worst. I'm very anti-VAR, and everywhere I've seen it, the best two places I've seen are Liga MX and the World Cup. That's it. I haven't seen.
Estaremos de buenos entonces en VAR, because it's no, I do not agree with that. I mean,
It's the least worst.
Maybe he's the best for America. I don't know. Or
It's better in the shambles that it is in Europe right now. I'll say that much. In Australia, because I follow the A League a little bit, so it's better in the shambles than they have over there.
I'm a fan of it. I just think it needs to the implementation needs to improve. It needs to be swifter. It needs to be smoother. You know, they can't be eating up 2 or 3 minutes of the game just to get a VAR review in.
Literally.
Yeah.
True.
You know,
real quick,
I know they don't. Yeah, go ahead.
After the game, I was thinking about, like, we need something. I mean, if they're already going into technology to kind of like the way the NFL does it, right? I always feel like maybe if you're gonna start copying that, it really is kind of just taking from in other leagues. Like, maybe you should also give the coach the opportunity to challenge a play, give him one, and like maybe like how the NFL happens, except in the NFL.
Oh, like in tennis, you mean?
Well, like it's except of timeouts, if it will cost you like a substitute. That way you don't use it every single time. You would only use it kind of like towards the end, because that's when mainly you do your substitutes, and it would pretty much only be seen like towards the end of a game when the call is very like controversial, and you feel like, no, that was a penalty. Because there's times where there's so many perspectives of the game. There's arbitros that say no, because I don't think there's arbitros rateros. I think there's very bad arbitros.
And the way that when they show a replay, it's like they have to understand that it's different in real life. So when they slow it down, it's more
dramatic.
It's more dramatic.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I think if they have a VAR referee, a dedicated VAR referee, then if they're not sure, they should leave the decision to him. I mean, like in baseball, if they challenge an umpire's call, that call is not made by the umpires on the field anymore. It's out of their hands. They go to replays that are in an off-site location, and they give them the call. I don't know. I feel like it would go faster that way.
Yeah, because
it
needs so many minutes. Like,
and it would mitigate the need to take so much time and rhythm out of the game being played.
Literally makes a call. All the players get upset. 1 minute. Oh, let me go see it. Some people walk, some people run, look at it, and then they're like, if when they look at it more than like 30 seconds, like the team's that screwed, like it's gonna go the other way. Yeah. And then it's like 2-3 minutes. Like, come on, it just kills the momentum of the game. Anyways, moving on to great things. Golazo, riflazo de Meneses. Meneses, I love him. Amazing. And the assist by Navarro, like the vision
I was gonna say that vision was incredible.
Amazing.
I've seen Neymar those kind of passes like that. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that pass. I'm like, Neymar?
Well,
Is
man,
that
you gotta see
you?
Chapo, man, because
Yeah.
Navarro is just, because I always tell Louis, like, I get so mad because I always see players open. I'm like, look, if you had Chapo, he could see that from the corner of his eye and, give those amazing passes. But you're right about that Navarro pass. It was Chapo-esque.
It was like a Chapo influence. The set.
I would like to bring the Monarchia in me though, and just say that and this is for the first I want to say 30 or 35 minutes. Shaggy was all over the place like that. He completely lost his man for that first goal. And the whole thing with Shaggy Martinez is kind of a farce, to be honest, because Shaggy like the way Get is set up was very confusing. He took what worked in the last few games and then completely changed it. First of all, we only had one striker, and the tactical system was all confusing. Shaggy was playing narrowly, and that was really what cost us the goal because he was confused. I wouldn't put it so much on him, more on Get that goal, even though it was technically his fault. And at least Guetta, who finally gets a chance, is playing in midfield. Like he's technically playing striker, but they move him to midfield in the game. So I have no idea what was trying there. Thankfully, they seem to reorganize themselves a little bit, but that Meneses goal is just a perfect example of tactical faults, I think.
Hey,
So let me
Brian,
ask you this. Oh, go on, Javier.
I just want to mention one thing. It's funny you bring up Shaggy Martinez because Louis the whole game was saying, I effing hate Shaggy. He kept saying the whole game, I hate him. I saw his face when he was talking. I just couldn't stop laughing.
He's just an easy.
I'm gonna talk about it on the podcast.
He's just an easy guy to hate on. He's got this awkward way of playing and just even carrying himself. That it makes him an easy guy to hate on. I don't really have anything against him though. I don't have anything against him really though.
Yeah. So Brian, talk to me about how confident are you in your team right now going into La Liga? Like, you guys qualify. How confident are you? How far do you think your team will make it?
If we keep this form, we might be able to make it through the next round, but I don't think we can win it. Like, if we couldn't win it with Rui Diaz and Valdez, I don't see any way we can win with this team. As much as I like the players now, I like Rui Diaz and Valdez were something else. And like Valdez is still doing well in Liga MX. He's doing well for Santos.
He is, but yet you guys would bench him.
Yep, and Rui Diaz is he literally just roasted LAFC. I actually saw a meme. What did more damage? The fires in LA or Rui Diaz? What did more damage to LA? But no. With those two, and we haven't seen the best of Achiller since those days either. Achiller he had a great game yesterday, but he's been a bit shaky lately, and he's kind of gone back to his norm. Because I remember at Emelec playing alongside Mena. Actually, he was pretty terrible, but when he moved to Monarchs, he was a pleasant surprise. I'm like, wow, he's improved a lot. But he's starting to go back to his norm. But yesterday was an exception. He was excellent. So really, the only two players that are comparable to the others are Flores and Vegas. Vegas is one of the best center backs in the Liga MX, I think. I wouldn't say the best, but I'd say maybe top 10. And Flores, he hasn't been quite as effective as Valdez, but he's more of a scorer, so he's got more goals than him. So I think that's a good thing for him. And I know this particularly as he plays for my selección, of course, but what I do like is that Guerra has been trying him as a 10, which I think Gareca should actually try in our selección because he actually plays left wing. And then notice whenever he plays left wing for Monarcas, he actually disappears. So I think I like that experiment. It's worked for the team, and it's worked for him. But no, I think those are the two comparable players right now. There's other very good players in the team like Rocha and Osuna, but they've all been like they were all there during the Rui Diaz and Valdez days and Hernandez days. And they still couldn't win a championship. In fact, they actually got battered pretty heavily against Monterrey that one year. So, like, I think we might to just sum it up briefly. I think we might be able to make it through the next round, especially if we get someone like Necaxa. That's not to underestimate Necaxa, but they're not as scary as America, for example. And
that's not scary.
You're scared of America?
Necaxa's scary. Maxi
yeah, you should be scared.
Yeah. But
I know what he's saying.
Inferiority complex. The inferiority complex. Like Necaxa is a good side, but they like Monarcas will go scared against America and they lose, even if they're better at all. And the same with Tigres. I'd say those two sides are the ones to avoid. And Yeah, Nick. Like if we get someone like Necaxa or I gotta look at the table really quickly. Who else is up top? Necaxa and Santos. If we get one of those two, Santos are probably the favorites to win it for me. But if we get someone like Necaxa and Santos, I think we have more of a chance. But I don't think we can make the final. It's either quarterfinals or semi exit for us. Because like I said, if we couldn't do it with the best team, we're not going to do it with this team. So.
No, I know what he's saying about playing in Necaxa. Necaxa's just not. They're not battle tested. You know, they have a better squad than. But America, Tigres, those teams are battle tested. That's why, if finishing in for us, for example, finishing 7th or 6th as opposed to 5th means we avoid a Tigres or an America in the quarterfinals. That might be better. You know, I don't want to say that it is, because that would mean more bad results down the stretch, but it might be better. It's been a tournament dominated by the smaller market clubs, like both of ours.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to think we're pretty battle tested at this point, but you know, those Querétaro, no one is going to be afraid. Querétaro is a great looking team this season, but nobody, even if they finish 2nd or 3rd, nobody is going to be afraid to go up against them in the Liguilla.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We'll still be underdogs regardless of who we get, unless we get like someone like Cholos. But we're not going to get Cholos. So
yeah,
like we're going to be underdogs regardless of who we get. Maybe, but
you are, but
like we still have a chance. We still have a chance against any other team other than
I'll be
those
honest
two.
with you. Yeah.
We have a chance. I always say the informed team in playoffs are the ones that goes far. But I just don't think the quality is there. Like I said, we had a really good squad a few years ago with Hernandez, and we still got trash time at Monterrey. Like there's just a big gap between Monarcas and the big clubs, like the one with the spenders, the one of the superiority complex. So I think that's a tough one for us. I think Leon have a bit of a better chance than we do, just because they have a better squad. But that's just me. So,
and also, if you think about it, the only 3 teams that León has lost to, Cruz Azul, Puebla, Monterrey, I don't think they're going to make it to La Liguilla. Every other team that's there, León has either beat them or tied against them. So I kind of just feel like, I'm telling you, we need to get these players healthy. Hopefully that Jornada after Toluca, that 1 week break, miracles can happen, and then we go to Tijuana, we beat them 17-0, they're eliminated, and then with that confidence, we win the whole. We go for la octava.
Yeah.
Then we had John Cardona, red carded, well deserved. Sadly,
is he related to Edwin Cardona? Because I actually
I don't think so.
I thought he was Edwin Cardona when I first saw him. I'm like, what's he doing at León? And then I looked at his face. It's like, that looks like Cardona. Oh wait, no, it's Tecillo. And it's like, no wait, that's Cardona. And I'm like, this guy looks like Edwin Cardona, but it's not Cardona.
I don't think he's any relation.
No,
I'll look it up. I'll look it up later. But they kind of do look alike. So.
Yeah.
So it's a shame because he got his first start and had actually a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good game
until that record.
If we hadn't gone down a man, we would have found the winner. But
is that why you hate Shaggy?
We have the sense of
no, that's how I don't really hate Shaggy. I don't really hate Shaggy. That was just Javier messing around.
Dude,
Oh,
I was even telling you, like, dude, leave him alone, man. What did he do to you?
No.
He's amazing.
He's an easy guy to hate on because he's so goofy looking.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
he said more.
Maybe that's what his nickname is, Shaggy, right?
His nickname is Shaggy because he looks like Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
The commentators are like Scooby Doo pop on Shaggy.
Yeah.
Whenever he kept touching the ball, I'm just like, there you go. That's the Mexican commentators. But Joe Cardona had a great game. Unfortunately, the red card was the red card. We were down. Guys, we go again. We've had lots of penalties, lots of red cards.
Yes, again.
Unacceptable this season. I don't know what's going on. Like,
I don't know.
It affects us because, like, Carlos had to explain the rule. When a player gets red card, it's like, we know what to expect. We have to think of, okay, then
that means Joe Cardona is going to be out
against Toluca.
one game and not starting the other one.
A match and a half. Yeah.
Toluca.
Yeah.
So That's
So-
one more option we don't have.
Yeah.
So now we have to think, but we'll talk about that versus Toluca. Brian, what went right and what went wrong for Monarcas?
What went right? The midfield went right. I thought Osuna and Rocha were pretty dominant. What went wrong? We didn't really generate anything. Like we were always up in Leon's half, but we barely did it. We barely scratched them. We barely scraped anything against them. So I was a bit disappointed in how the attack turned up. Orejas had his poorest game in a while, and usually the play goes through him. We also, I was also a bit disappointed at Aristeguieta because that probably means Solis is going to start next game again. So we have another game of playing with 10 men. And no, but Aristeguieta, he is a bit disappointing. I've watched him since he was at Caracas, and I thought he was pretty good. And I was pretty excited when we signed him, but he's been a bit clumsy, and I think he's best coming off the bench. So we might be okay playing with Sansones for like the first 60 minutes and sub him off and then put Aristeguieta. He just wasn't working this game. I should also mention that the tactical complexity of Guedes' setup was a little bit weird. That also didn't help him. Like there was only really one striker, and I don't know. I think Ferreira's the best forward at the moment.
Yeah.
I think we missed him a little bit. And as for what else went right, I thought the center backs were solid. I thought Achille had his, like I said, he had his best game in a while. But the fullbacks, well, Shaggy started off kind of poor, but he reorganized himself. But overall, the fullbacks went great. So I think the midfield was the right. The center backs were the right. Pretty much anyone in the center except for Aristeguieta. And the wide players, which is really just the fullbacks, were kind of meh. I also liked what I saw from Quick Mendoza. I thought he was pretty solid on the night.
Great.
My guys, what do you think went right for Leon? And obviously, I guess we know what went wrong, but I guess what went right? What did we do good? What can we applaud? What can we rescue from this game?
I mean,
Takeshi went right.
yeah, that's one. Meneses,
Mm-hmm.
that's one.
Meneses has gotten better every game that he's played in that Chapo role.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, ever since coming back from Selección, he's been pretty good. But I think we were pretty dominant up to the first goal that was scored by Monarcas. I think we had the first couple chances at goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that goal kind of sort of caught us off guard. Like you mentioned, Brian, it was sort of lucky for you guys.
Yeah, we were a mess in the first 15 minutes. We were a mess.
So I think Leon dominated the first part of that first half. And I think that's probably the only good I see from this game for us.
I know Kari criticized him earlier, but I did like Mena on the night. I thought he was good on the counterattack. But he had 2 progressive runs. I checked earlier, and that's not too bad. But again, he wasn't too impactful in creativity. So he was just making dangerous runs. That's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
To me, John Cardona, great. Meneses, great. Sosa, great. I'm just defensively, very worrisome, inconsistent. That I saw a tweet about, and we've mentioned this earlier, but I can't remember the exact words of this tweet. But do we need it was someone that said, do we need a bench Mena and JJ for them to kind of react?
I didn't like Ramos at all.
Oh no, Ramos to me, no. I mean, I don't know if it's because of how him and JJ are working up top, but to me, JJ adapted really well. Ramos just couldn't finish.
Yeah, Ramos has been disappointing. I was really, really excited about it. You guys know, I think he's a lot better than what we've seen.
Yeah.
And was very excited about his signing. Just like when, he and Pedro Aquino were the bright spots of Lobos Buap. They were like they were great there, and they were both highly sought after when they left. So when we got both of them, I was very excited. Ramos was among the person in the league playing for a Lobo squad that, it was hard for him to find opportunities on, and he just hasn't been good at all here. It's very disappointing. But I still think we haven't seen the best from him. But it was weird for me to see him start out of nowhere after basically not playing for so long, and they just throw him in the fire and say good luck. You know, that was a little strange to me.
Yeah.
Even as much confidence as I have, much more than you guys have in him. I have more confidence in him, but that was an odd decision.
He's talking
For
about me. I was like, I don't like him, bro.
Yeah.
I think we need to give him time. I think at this point, we've said it before. There's players that come through Leon and get with the given time, they can become great. I think it's just a matter of struggle this season with the, implementing the system with these new players and the chemistry there. So I think it's just a matter of time. Who knows? Maybe in La Liga he'll show up, given the opportunity, or if it's just, kind of getting used to everybody and how they move. And I mean, Ramos was disappointing, but I still believe in him. I'm just waiting for him to give me something. Just kind of what we were expecting about John Cardona. We were like waiting for him to start.
I don't hate him. I just disappoint. I wish I could see more, like what Louis would say. What he did in Lois Buap, like you kind of just started imagining, like, look, imagine what he did with that limited of a team.
Yeah.
Leon, maybe he could do double what he did over there. But that's pretty much what I'm saying. Like I was just very disappointed.
Yeah.
And I was also very surprised to see him start as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues is having two strikers, because I think that they se estorban. I think we had Fluku from Paradero Boys who mentioned that having two strikers for us is tactically bad at times, because nobody knows who's going to be striking, and nobody knows where to go. So I think that's the reason we haven't seen Ramos shine this season. And when JJ and Ramos play together, JJ doesn't have a really good game either, So I think either it's one or the other. Either JJ starts or Ramos starts, and the other one has to come off the bench. Like the very first game to start off the season against Pachuca, Ramos came in and he had a goal because he was the only striker. So I think that's probably tactically the only change that I would make, is have one single striker.
Yeah. I think that would be a good option if we would just start JJ, maybe let him go 60, 65, and then sub him out and put Ramos. I think, when we do end up playing, I think, to me, it's just natural for JJ to take on the role of I'll be the creator, you tu solo in front of goal. And that's where I think Ramos needs to take advantage, and make them, because I think, I said it a couple podcasts ago with, I can never remember the striker that we had. What was his name?
Walter Gonzalez.
Walter Gonzalez. My bad. When we had Walter Gonzalez and Boselli, that was a situation that was clearly these cannot play together. Like it was just impossible. So I kind of am more towards we can with Ramos and JJ. It's just a matter of kind of talking to each other, because to me, when I've seen that happen, JJ usually takes the role on, hey, yo te la pongo, I'll create, and whenever JJ has opportunity, he will take his shot. He'll be the creator up top. But I don't know. I guess we'll see what we have in store, what our lineup's going to look like, if we have everybody healthy, what's the best decision, But I think I agree with Carlos. I think if it comes to it, start JJ and just have Ramos as a off the bench player that can come in and fresh legs, But
I mean,
hey guys,
we used him
real
2
quick.
times.
Sorry, Jose.
Go
I
ahead.
gotta go. I just want to give real quick my prediction with the Toluca game.
Go
It's
for
a
it.
must win. It's a must win. So I'm gonna have to, and we have to. We have to win like 3-0. So
3-0.
I gotta go because
Okay.
they're closing the Civic, and I want to go see Nacho Gonzalez and TV Cuatro. I'll try
Okay.
I'll try to take a video. I'll try to take a video, see maybe he can give a shout out to the Lions Den podcast.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Anybody that's watching, please subscribe, please. I gotta go. Bye.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you for
Cheers.
joining.
Bye, Brian. Bye, Brian. Hopefully,
Thank you,
we
Javier.
finish it. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Javier needing to go. Jose, you were saying something.
Yeah, but I think I lost it. So let's come
Okay.
back to me.
No, I was
come
just
back to
going
you.
to say that I think about, just to finish on the Leo Ramos point, that I think he was brought in to be a sub, and eventually maybe if JJ leaves, to be the starter next season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think he wasn't brought in to play the role that they had him in last night's game. That's another reason why I thought it was very strange.
Yeah.
He's not he's got to be your number 9. He's not going to be a false 9, the second striker, or cleaning up the scraps.
Exactly.
That's not him. Maybe that's for Germán Cano or Walter Gonzalez, but that's not for Leo Ramos.
I miss Cano though.
So I miss Cano too, but he didn't play very well with Boselli either. Like when they played together, it did not go very well. Yeah. But when Cano was the lone striker, when Boselli was injured to start that first season that he played, he was great.
He was great, and he loved it. He didn't want to go.
Yeah.
I agree. So Brian, we're gonna let you go. Thank you so much for helping us kind of recap that game. Where can we follow you at?
All right, my Twitter is there on the screen, but in case you can't read and are dyslexic or something, it's Monarcas ENG. And my other Twitter, in case you're interested in following my private Twitter, it's actually a new Twitter. I lost basically 1,000 followers on it, but I'm not too bothered. Brian Bertie 1998, and I will warn you though that my Twitter is more aimed towards Peru stuff. Like I follow a bit of everything, but like if you're looking for more neutral Monarcas tweets instead of just like, oh my God, Flores scored, you're not gonna find it on my account. If you want more neutral tweets, you're gonna find it on my regular account because, as I said, I'm the founder of Peruvian Wallets, and I also gotta please my Peruvian audience. So I mostly created the other account that way I can be no more neutral. So to my
awesome. Anybody listening out there, if you want to know everything about Morelia in English, make sure to follow Monarcas ENG, part of the new Liga MX community in English. You guys can follow him there. And also, like he said, he's given other Twitter handles, Peruvian soccer, if you're interested. He is your man. So thank you, Brian, once again for joining us. And we wish your team luck.
Thank you, Brian.
I wish your team luck as well.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Brian.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well. Now we are 4. So we're going to end the show talking a little bit about the preview, León versus Toluca. We need to win, guys. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. We need to win. It's a game where we need 3 points. Like we don't have a choice anymore. Correct? Yeah. We need to play like we used to play like we did against San Luis when we were happy. And kind of get it back together. What do you guys think?
Yeah. If last night was a must win and we couldn't get a win, this is definitely a must win.
Yeah.
This is a must win, and I think it will be a win. I'm pretty skeptical pretty much usually against these games against bottom of the table teams, but I don't know. This one even more than the San Luis game, more than the Monarcas game, because I was afraid of Monarcas, and they showed us why. This one, Toluca's been outright atrocious. They can't get anything. They just lost at home 3-1 to Chivas. That's pretty bad.
Louis, that scares me. Like
it scared me too against San Luis, and against Juarez and a few other teams. But I don't know. This one just maybe I can't even tell you exactly why, but it just feels a little bit different. It feels like it feels like they're gonna get up early and they're not gonna look.
Yeah, I agree. So shout out to everybody on the live chat. Chango Loco had said, bad week for León. Yes, I know. We're dealing with it. Ivan, thank you for tuning in. He said this is not a Giants Cowboys game. No, but they are playing. I have the game in the background. And our other friend Christian, hey Ivan, and they're from the Eagle Eye podcast. You guys can follow them at Resaca America EN. Great friends. A Day with Johnny. Thank you for tuning in. I think he was asking Brian, are you Mexican? And he clearly said he was Peruvian from the beginning. Our other friend had a lot to say. 80515. Can you please remind me your name?
I think it's Ivan? Also Ivan, yeah, or Ivan. Yeah.
Ivan.
He is saying the game against Toluca is a must win. If we lose and Xolos win this week, Xolos is going to go all out on us since they'll be fighting to get into Liguilla. Crucial game, right?
Yeah.
Cholos
Good
plays.
And he's saying
Forget. I think that
Bench
Cholos
Mena.
plays another team that's fighting in the Liguilla. That's what I'm saying. There's all these teams heading down the stretch that still have to play each other, that are among the teams that are fighting just to get in. That's good for us.
I don't know if Jose is trying to talk, but Jose, you're muted.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I saw you trying to talk.
Sorry. Thank
and
you.
then
Sorry.
Yeah,
Isaac
it's
said Aquinos, unfortunately, the injuries plague him, and it's time to let him go.
I don't know about that. I think we give him one more tournament. I think we give him one more tournament because
He needs
I
to stay
really
healthy.
liked the way he's played when he's been able to play.
It's just injuries have been just terrible. And like they just can't like every time that he's healthy, I think he shows us like glimpses of why we got him in the first place. But
Yeah.
Well, and why
Especially
he's
with
a
Peru.
consistent call up, a consistent Peru call up. You know, that's a selección that has options around the world,
Mhm.
exactly.
and he keeps getting the call.
So
Yeah,
I
hopefully we
guess
see him this
go on,
weekend.
Carlos.
I was gonna say, hopefully we see him back this weekend. Maybe at least coming off the bench.
Do you think they're gonna rush him?
That's actually a good point because
Because that's what I think too. Like okay, so every time that he comes back from injury, what's the first thing that happens? There's always a
He gets red carded.
call up to his national
Oh.
team.
right.
And then what happens? He gets injured again. Like
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like I don't think it's a good idea to rush him. Like I know we need players there, but
We
I
shouldn't
mean,
rush him. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not
like
gonna start right now.
I mean,
know?
we can
better
say
be
that
sorry. Better not be sorry now than later. You know, and we need him for la liguilla. Like we can afford to at least not having like the next two games. Like because in la liguilla that's when it really matters. The regular season, it's
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he'd be a guy if he's healthy and can be an option. He's a great option to have, but it's not worth forcing him back early or rushing him back. I don't see any reason for that.
Well, he's gonna be a call-up to La Selección de Peru. So what if they use him?
Well, that's out of our hands, I suppose. Well, all of it's out of our hands. We're not coaching. We're not coaching the team, but that's out of Ambris's hands. You know.
Yeah.
So if we were to have Mosquera and Montes like said healthy, we're gonna start them, right? Or no?
I don't think
You don't think so?
I don't think they start. Well, not against Toluca.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Not against. I think they come off the bench.
So I guess my question is, what do you think what does your lineup look like if Montes and Mosquera are not starting?
Well, we also have to think about Ramiro, who just got injured. We haven't even heard the injury report from him. He might be out. So lineup wise,
we're stuck with Herrera.
Yeah, we're stuck with Herrera in the as a center back, and then Osvaldo, Navarro, and Tecillo. And then you have Ivan, Meneses, Jairo. I guess is gonna have to get pushed up. Mena, Sosa, and Macias. That's probably Saturday's lineup.
No, I just want to say we didn't do our traditional Macias segment today, or at least we haven't done it yet.
Sorry, we haven't done it yet. We'll get that. We'll get to that. Go ahead.
Okay, off. I'll hold. If we're gonna do the segment, I'll hold off.
Yeah. Let's just quickly figure out our prediction and lineup, and then predictions, and then we'll do JJ segment.
Okay.
So, Louis, you say Mosquera and Montes do start against Toluca.
No. What I was saying was that they'll start and play as soon. They'll start as soon as they are fully fit. I think if they're match fit but not fully fit, I agree with Carlos. I think they'll be second half subs. Yeah.
So we would see the same lineup with the exception of John Cardona.
Ramiro. And Ramiro. Yeah.
So then who do we put there?
Herrera, right?
Herrera.
Yeah.
And then Osvaldito, Tecillo, Navarro, Meneses, Ivan. Do we do Jairo and Sosa?
Jairo, Sosa, Mena.
Oh. So you're saying Yairo behind JJ?
No, Yairo on
sorry.
the left wing.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yairo on the left, Sosa behind JJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, prediction time. Let's go. Louis, go first.
I'll go with a 3-1. 3-1.
3-1.
I want to say 3-0, but we just can't seem to keep the other squads out of the net at least once in even games that we win. So I'm gonna go with 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carlos.
Yeah, I'll probably go with the 3-1 as well. Just because if I think Chivas could beat Toluca, then we definitely can beat them.
Okay. Jose, prediction.
Jose?
Who's muted?
I think he had to get off. I'm not sure.
Okay. I think for some reason I always go too ambitious, and I'm pretty disappointed this week. So I'm gonna just keep it a 2-1.
Okay.
Because, kind of keep it more conservative. I know it's against Toluca and they're terrible, but I just hate these type of scenario games where we should be superior on paper and we have the players to do it. It's just we need to deliver and concrete those goals that need to be in the goal. Not just the fantasia and, unlucky plays that, we've had this past week.
Mm-hmm.
All these players just right in front of the goal, Campbell. Come on.
Yeah.
So Ivan said, I'm not ready to predict. Ivan, give us your prediction. We want to hear too, since Jose is out right now. So those are our predictions. Yes, we predict Leon is going to win against Toluca. I mean, they have to at this point. I think that's why we're being optimistic about Leon against Toluca. Toluca being a horrible team. No offense to all the Toluca fans out there, but they really need to reconstruct that team in all ways.
Yep.
Ivan said 1-1 or 2-1. It can be similar Sunday game like the Pumas won. So
okay. First score.
Now, Louis, JJ Macias segment. Yes, we have the segment dedicated to JJ Macias, news, transfers, anything JJ Macias related, because he is our number one fiera, la envidia de todos. Everybody would want to have a JJ Macias on their team, but we have it. Chivas Hermano can claim what they want, but we're taking the juice out of him this season and past season. So, talking about JJ Macias, Louis.
Yeah. Well, this has nothing to do with transfer news or rumors or where he might play in Europe or when he might go. I mean, it does have to do with that, but none of that. What interests me is what he can do for us while he's playing here. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he's kind of, I talked before about the players I think we can need to expect more from if we want to achieve greatness. Campbell, Mena, those are the two biggest ones for me. But also, you could even say that guys like Jefecito Rodriguez haven't been on their best game. There's guys that were great. We're better than what we're showing a much better form than what they are now. And I think we need to expect that from them again if we want to get back to another final. Now, I think in Macias's case, I feel like a lot of people have him in this burbuja impermeable a las críticas. And I don't know if that's fair anymore, to be honest with you. I don't think, aside from his wonder goal against Pumas, I don't think he has looked 6 or 7 matches. I know you thought he had a good game, Kari, against Monarcas. I just wasn't really seeing it. I thought he was extremely impreciso. I thought he rushed his chances in front of goal, one quite egregiously. And but nobody wants to dare to criticize him because he's the golden boy. He's the wonder child. He's somebody we don't deserve to have, and we do. And a lot of times, he has shown why that is. But I think lately he is as much worthy of criticism as anyone else on the squad. Mm-hmm. I just don't think he has looked that great, and he hasn't looked like a guy who wants to be playing in Europe in 6 months. That's what all the talk about him is. Oh, he wants to be in Europe, as soon as possible. Well, does he deserve to be? I don't know. I don't know. And I if he has an offer to do so, I'm not going to say that he shouldn't take it. But does he deserve it? I'm going to say that playing as he is right the answer is probably no, and that's probably a controversial opinion for some people who keep him in this bubble. You know, I don't know what you guys think, but this game really sealed it for me. I think he's not. I think he's not in top form at all.
That was your third
Yeah.
strike for him this game. You were like,
Not
all
my
right,
third. No,
this is what I
not
think.
my third strike. Yeah. Not my third strike. He
No,
has
just
he has plenty of time to prove me wrong still.
Mhm.
You know.
Carlos,
I mean,
what do you
I
think?
do agree. I do
In the
agree.
bubble?
I mean, yeah, I sort of agree. I feel like he's our Diego Lainez, you know, where you have this wonder boy who's doing good things here and there. He's young, so obviously you're going to have a lot of people looking at him. But I agree. I don't think he's in top form. I think he has a lot of room to improve, and I hope it comes at least before the Liga starts because we're really going to need him there. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. He has the ability. He has room to grow, especially with a couple of games left. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with Louis. He isn't in top form right now, as many other players aren't, like Mena, Jefecito, as Louis said. So I don't think he's alone, but we expect more of him.
No, he's not alone, but people aren't afraid to criticize those other guys. I think people are afraid to criticize Macias because you know, they want to think he can do no wrong. They want to think he can do no wrong, and he's so young and so talented.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that the youth is another reason people are afraid to criticize. Oh, yes, he's going to get better, but he's already talking about Europe, and is he worthy of it? I just don't think so. Right now.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, he's the kind of guy who's got a ton to gain from a match against Toluca and that porous defense in La Mira de la Liguilla. You know, he goes out there and scores a definitive dominating brace or something like that. You know, that then he's right back on track again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he hasn't had that. You know, he's so capable of doing that, and it just hasn't happened for him. And I think. And you know, it's not that, and it's not for lack of effort or lack of chances. You know, that's the other thing. You know, but that's the thing. People are not afraid to criticize other dudes on the team who are clearly not in top form. For me, he's just as clearly not in top form as they are, but nobody's talking about it. So I just had to get that off my chest. Sorry about that.
No, it's tea time. Jose, do you agree or disagree, or what are you thinking?
I do think that. Yeah, he's been shielded in a way, I suppose, from critics because of like his young age. But yes, I do agree that he is definitely out form, just like everyone else. But I think that the reason why he's not scoring is not just his form; it's the whole thing as a whole. So it's affecting him. So it's not just him; it's the people around him. And
yeah.
Because but definitely, if he wants to move to Europe, he definitely needs to show why he deserves to move to Europe. And this is like one of especially in difficult times when your team's struggling. If you come out and score goals or get your team out of a bad spot like we are right now, then that's how he's gonna show that he has the credentials to deserve to move to Europe. Yep. And yeah, I do think he needs to be just like everyone else, held accountable, because I mean even though he's young, he's a very important part of our team. So it's not like he's a bench player, you know. He's a starter. He's started most of the games in this season. So yes, if he's not doing well, then just like everyone else, he needs to get criticized like everyone else.
Yeah, and I just think people are afraid to do it. And you know, I know that
he's not afraid, guys. He will rip it how it is.
Well, that's the thing, Jose. I agree with Jose. What Jose said about everybody being held accountable. Yeah, it's unusual for someone in his position to be star,
to be that young and yes.
But if he's gonna be tasked with that, he needs to be held accountable for what that entails and what that implies, and the responsibility that goes along with that.
Right.
And I just don't think he has been. I think others have been criticized more when it's in many ways an equal responsibility, an equal fault. It's the fault of many. But the thing is, we've run into the ground whether how long he should stay more before he goes to Europe, if he's ready to go to Europe. That's all anybody wants to talk about with him. And I think, frankly, if he goes now, he's going to be another Lainez and not a Chucky Lozano. When Chucky Lozano left, there was no doubt that that's where he belonged. It was time for him to leave, and he should go. I think there's still plenty of doubt about Macias. I don't think he's shown nearly enough. Yeah.
Agreed.
So I'm split because I get where Louis coming from, because I agree. I think he is at much fault as everybody else. I think at this point everybody should recognize their fault. They're especially the starters who play every single game, and I also agree with Jose saying I think it's affecting him because JJ has not been the same JJ, but at the same time, I haven't seen him not try.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? I think it's just a matter of closing in, on the opportunities, poor decision making that he has taken. But other than that, I can't really say he's not tried. He's not every time I see him, he's creating, he's doing something. I think he's in it. I think it's just the rest of the team and the situation is probably affecting him. And I think it's affecting everybody. But I think we should hold him accountable because he's our star and he's young. And if we have to bench him for a half, maybe go in second half, then let's do it. He's 19, He has his mentality is like a already prime player. He knows, he knows what's up. He knows if he gets 5 minutes, if Ambriz subs him in 15 minutes, he knows he has to get something out of it. So I think at this point, if the decision comes to, what, you're not scoring, you're not holding your part of it, because for last season, JJ was our goal scorer. He was our goal, and that's what we were so affected by him going to the World Cup instead of playing the final, because we needed someone que nos diera un gol. We needed that goal scorer, and we didn't have it. So I think, he's played both roles this season where he has been that goal scorer, but moreover, he's been more of the creative side, that the one making the plays in conjunction with the other players. I don't know. Yeah. I agree. I think hold him accountable. But
I think,
I mean, the playmaking element of his development has come a long way. That I cannot criticize. I remember, that great assist he had against Necaxa to open the scoring, and I mean that's just something you wouldn't have expected from him at all last season. I mean, he's done. First of all, to be playing out that wide, and second of all, to be able to make a stellar play from playing that wide. I would just say that for a guy who pinta como estrella the way that he does, when things aren't coming as easy for him, he still has to find a way to produce, and I think he's had a real hard time with that in the last 6 or 7 matches.
Yeah,
things have not come as easy for him, and he hasn't responded like a star, and everybody thinks he's going to be a star. So that's learning how to play make. That's another element of becoming a star, becoming more versatile, becoming more dangerous in more areas. But when things are not coming as easy for you, the great ones still find a way to score,
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have to do that, whether it's here or wherever else he plays next.
That's something interesting you bring up, because I mean, if you play in Europe, obviously the strikers you're competing with are not going to be the same caliber. So they are going to be very tough in situations where he's going to be benched. There'll be situations like that. Or there'll be like runs like when he can score, and then since in Europe they're not gonna be like, well, we don't have anyone else. No, that they have very capable, like even their second and third choice will be very capable to start. So then this should be like something that should help him grow. Like even if he gets benched or not, it should help him grow. Like if eventually he moves to Europe, because that's a whole different world over there. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you guys think?
Well, I don't think we should bench him. I say all this stuff about him. I still don't think we should bench him. I think if we have any hope of doing big things in Liga, he needs to be in there. I just don't want to be another one of those people who's afraid to criticize and holds him up to this level where he's incriticable. I just don't. That's he has to be held to the same standards as every other starter.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I agree.
Mhm.
I think everybody needs to. I don't know if they need to do a kumbaya session to mentally all be on the same page. Because
No, I mean, we tried this before, and remember what happened? Like, do you guys ever heard about like how Leon brought what do you call it? Like a witch or something, and they remember that? Like they, I think they some sort of, I don't know, like ritual priest or whatever. Like because we were, I think it was in Leon. I don't remember who it was. Leon. Maybe it was on our team. But anyway, I forget. I had to like look it up, but it's something along those lines, and that didn't work. So I don't think we really need to resort to those kind of methods. I think we just need to work with what we have. And
yeah, chemistry is a tough thing and a fickle thing, especially in Liga MX. I feel like it's great for a little while, and then it just ends.
Yeah.
And the team is never the same after that and gets restructured completely. So I really hope that's not the situation. I really hope it's not for lack of chemistry. It doesn't seem like it really, but you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close to the team, but not that close. Not close enough to know about that.
It's
kind
funny
of stuff.
how like
yeah.
It's funny how like it's always like last season we were unstoppable, but it's always the second season that gets to us though.
Mm-hmm.
Always the second season, like for the managers that we have as of late. Like it's always in the second season when they have it the toughest. Like I mean, even we've been up and down, and even though we've been like this very inconsistent, we're
still
3 points away from 30 points.
Yeah.
Like how many? Like I think it's been, let me see, 1, 2, 3, at least 3 times. Well, no, 4 times with Ambris. We have passed the mark of 30 points since we came back to Liga MX, and we're again, even though we've been very inconsistent, we're 3 points away from reaching 30 points again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We as Leon fans want to see them playing beautifully like they have before, and just that confidence that even if we're down, we're going to keep attacking, and our defense is going to be in tip-top shape. That's just kind of our thinking. Jose, Ivan said yes versus Pachuca, and he came and burned something on the goalie nets.
Yes,
and he said it was on the year 2002. So there you go. But I mean, everybody needs to be held accountable. But Louis did get it off his chest, and I think to a certain extent, yes. So JJ needs to, I don't know, do his own little meditation or something and get back into it, because he has potential. He's young. We just need to see it back on the field. Like,
it's not so much just a pure criticism of him.
Yeah,
it's everybody wants to talk about the great things he's going to do after this. Well, how about what he's doing right now? He should take care of his business here first. Yeah. One thing at a time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this phase over with. Do great in Liguilla. JJ win a campeonato with Leon, and then we could talk.
Yeah.
But in a perfect world, which it will be, guys, I am so confident. So that wraps up our JJ Macias segment for today. As always, every week we have a JJ Macias segment talking about anything JJ Macias. As you guys just heard this segment, we expect more from JJ. So This pod has run so long, but whoever's still watching, thank you for staying with us and talking about all León in this doble jornada. You guys have heard us talk about the recap versus Cruz Azul and Morelia, and kind of a little preview against Toluca. So we will be back next week talking about how that Toluca game went and ahead of international break. Thank you guys, everybody on the chat. Chango Loco, Ivan, Pineda, and Christian. A Day with Johnny, Ivan. Thank you guys for joining us on the live chat. Everybody who is listening or who has tuned in, thank you guys. Don't forget to follow us on our Twitter accounts. As you guys, I'm like pointing different directions. It is so confusing.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to keep in touch with everything that happens on game day, definitely follow Club Leon English, keeping you updated during the game if you can't catch it. Jose also be live tweeting, and Louis, hey, if there's a game Louis can go to, he will go to it. So you can definitely see all his pictures and videos from the game, from the stands, with being there in person. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us on another Monday Night Football on the Lions Den podcast. As always, we are here to serve you guys with all Club Leon English content. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to just have a reminder that we are live every Monday night. So click the subscribe button. Thumbs up if you guys liked it. Thumbs down. Leave us comments. We're open to criticism, open-minded people. So again, thank you guys for joining us on another Monday Night Football. Carlos, Louis, Jose, we're going to take off.
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Bye, guys.
See you next week.